बोले श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कण्ठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणि। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षणे। यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्गुं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। On the 14th of January, (1957), a very special event took place in what was known as Kashi, India, today known as Varanasi. The 14th of January was Makar Sankranti. Understand briefly the significance of Makar Sankranti, and then we will talk about that event. The Devatas, those residing in heaven, there's a place called Swarg. Their time compared to ours is very different. Their 12 hours is equal to 6 months, our time. 12 hours of Devata's time is equal to 6 months, our time here on earth. So the Devatas, they sleep for 6 months and they wake for 6 months. 12 hours, their time, they sleep for 12 hours, 6 months our time, and they wake for 12 hours, 6 months our time. So, the moment the sun starts to travel southward, Dakshinayan, The south is going Dakshin Tara, southward, they go to sleep. The time is considered to be inauspicious. So normally, those following Sanatan Dharma would not perform auspicious things like Upanayana, Sanskar, which is known as Janev, wedding, etc. Then, on the 14th of January, mostly, the sun enters into Capricorn. Makar Rashi. In Hindi, Sanskrit, in English, Capricorn. And it starts traveling northwards. Uttarayan. The Devtas have woken up. So this time is now considered to be auspicious again. Now again all the auspicious ceremonies, Upanayana, Sanskar, Janev, wedding, etc. will be performed. There is an incident in Mahabharata. Bhishma Pitamaha, the grandsire, had fallen in the battle. He asked Arjun to make a bed of arrows for him. And he lay on that bed of arrows for 6 months. Until this day came, until the sun would move northward, when it would enter into Capricorn. And then he left the body. So this day is very auspicious. It's celebrated throughout India. And the Hindus all over the world. It's a very auspicious day. So on this day, in the year 1957, on the 14th of January, a special event took place. The title of only the fifth original Jagadguru, Mool Jagadguru, was bestowed upon Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu by the Kashi Vidvat Parishad. This Kashi Vidvat Parishad at that time comprised of 500 of the greatest spiritual scholars in India at that time. They were very powerful. They would not accept anyone as being knowledgeable. Even if Saraswati and Brihaspati would come in the earth, they will challenge them. So powerful with this group called the Kashi Vidvat Parishad. What is the difference between original Jagadguru, Mool Jagadguru and Jagadguru? Preceding Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, there were only 4 original Jagadguru, Mool Jagadguru. First, there was Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya. You heard about him? Advait, Siddhant, the teacher of non-dualism. His philosophy, Jagat Mithya, that the world we see is an imagination of the mind, is not real, and God is only formless, Nirakar, etc. After him came Jagadguru Ramanujacharya. These are all dissensions. Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya is known to be dissension of Shiv Bhagwan. Ramanujacharya is dissension of Lakshman, Sheshnag. So Jagadguru Ramanujacharya. After him came Jagadguru Nimbarkacharya and finally Jagadguru Madhavacharya. Then a period of about 700 years passed, no Jagadguru, until this very auspicious day of the 14th of January 1957, when only the fifth, the title of only the fifth original Jagadguru was bestowed upon Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. So I mentioned about difference between Jagadguru and Mool Jagadguru, original. When a person goes before, and mostly in Kashi, that happened in Varanasi, in India, this is considered to be the seat of learning in India. When someone would go before a body of the greatest spiritual scholars, minds in India, and there would be something called Shastrarth, a debate on the scriptures. And during that Shastrarth, they would consider that person, the knowledge of that person to be greater than all of them combined, all of them. Then only they would bestow the title of Mool Jagadguru, or Jagadguru, Mool Jagadguru, the original. So there were only 5. Previously only 4. Then the 5th. What normally happened is after these original Jagadguru would leave the world, someone in following in that same tradition would just go and sit on the throne, on the seat, and would start calling himself Jagadguru. But he's not original. Nobody made him Jagadguru. He just became a succession. So there's succession, and so there are thousands of people who are called Jagadguru in India. People call themselves Jagadguru. Don't even belong to a succession. This is a normal thing this is a nice title to have, that you are teacher of the whole world, the whole universe. But there are only 5 original. Just to clarify that a little bit. Now, in order to understand the greatness of Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, I will try to give a little history of the life of this great personality we call Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. In the year 1486, in a place called Navadvip in India, something very special happened. It was the full moon night of the month of Phagun, February. Phagun in the Hindi calendar. On the full moon night, Radha Krishna, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Radha and Radharani combined descended in the world. The year was 1486. According to the English calendar. And that descension was known as Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya. Gaurang Mahaprabhu reignited the path of bhakti, of loving God, and chanting the divine name of God as the only means of attaining God, and bhakti, and the greatness of bhakti. He was divine love itself personified, and deserving souls recognize his divinity as being descension of Radharani, descension of Radha Krishna. But he only stayed in the world 48 years. Before he left the world, as he knew he was going to leave, he said to his mother, I will come back 2 times. मैं 2 बार फिर आऊंगा. And so to fulfill that prophecy that he gave his mother, that I will come back to bless the souls in the world and bless the world. I'll come back 2 more times. In fulfilling that prophecy in his words to his mother, he came, descended again in the year 1922. In the year 1922, in a very remote village called Mangar, in the district of Pratapgarh, on the full moon night of the Sharad Purnima, Gaurang Mahaprabhu, keeping his word, descended again. The very significance of this night, Sharad Purnima, this month normally falls around October, between half October and half November, but it can fall anywhere between October and November. According to the Hindi calendar, it's the month of Sharad Purnima. This is the night Bhagwan Shri Krishna performed Maharas with the gopis, the deserving souls. Little more than 5,000 years ago, Bhagwan Krishna played on the Basuri, started playing the Basuri, divine flute, on this night of Sharad Purnima. And only those who were deserving heard. The gopis, the husband did not hear. Only the gopis heard. The cowherd friends of Shri Krishna, the Gwal Bal, did not hear. Yashoda Maiya, Nanda Baba did not hear. Shiv Bhagwan, sitting on Mount Kailash, he also heard. He also came, and through the grace of Radharani, he became a gopi, Shivani, and took part in the Maharas also. This Maharas went on for one Brahmaratri. Brahmaratri. 12 hours of Brahma. One night of Brahma is called one Kalp. 4,294,080,000 years. That's how long Maharas went for. For the whole world it seemed like one night. Bhagwan Shri Krishna, through his Yog Maya Shakti, stopped the stars, the moon, everything. Nobody knew. And that Maharas went on for one night of Brahma. Brahma, the creator. Brahmaratri. One Kalp. So this is the highest aim of the soul, the highest attainment, to take part in Maharas. What is Maharas? It's a different thing. It's not a dance, even though it's depicted like that. Maharas is beyond the intelligence, intellect of Brahma, Saraswati, and Brihaspati. What about worldly souls who can know what is Maharas? Just understand, it is the most special thing and is the highest thing for a soul to attain. There are certain conditions. Among saints, only those who belong to Raga Nuga Bhakti. Amongst Raga Nuga Bhakti, only those who are completely selfless, Nishkam, Samartharati. Sadharni Rati, these are very high also. Those devotees, they can attain up to Prema Bhakti only. Samanjasarati, higher they can go up to Anurag Bhakti. These are stages of perfect devotion. Prema Bhakti, Sneh Bhakti, Man Bhakti, Pranay Bhakti, Rag Bhakti, Anurag Bhakti, Bhavesh, Mahabhav. The highest. Lowest Prema Bhakti. So, Samanjasarati, Rukmini, with dissension of Mahalakshmi and the wives of Sri Krishna in Dwarika, they attained up to Anurag Bhakti. And Samartharati, only those the gopis of Vrindavan who love Sri Krishna only for his happiness. Unki ichha mein ichha. Tat sukha sukhatvam. Were able to attain that they can cross Anurag and they go to Mahabhav, the highest. They only are able to take part in Maharas. Just briefly. This is such a special occasion. That's the thing which is known as Maharas. I'm not even touching even the dust of what this Maharas really is. Just given an idea. So this was the night, 12 midnight, in the village of Mangar, the remote village, in the home of Bhagavati Ma and Lalit Tripathi. This special descension happened. Again, Gaurang Mahaprabhu descended as Ram Kripalu Tripathi. Originally, that was his name. The name was Kripalu Tripathi, but it was a custom. This village Mangar is very close to Ayodhya, and mostly people around that area worship Lord Sri Ram. So it was a custom in that family that to give the name Ram as a first name. So the name Ram Kripalu Tripathi. The divine descension. Of course, Bhagwan, when he descends, he doesn't want anyone to know. Through his Yoga Maya, even though the one who is his mother, father, etc., are not ordinary human beings, but through the power of Yoga Maya, they had no idea who came in their home. Yashoda Maya did not know Sri Krishna as a Bhagavan. You think if Yashoda Maya knew that Sri Krishna is a Bhagavan, she would threaten to beat him, tie him to a mortar, and threaten to beat him with a stick? No, she'd put him on a throne and do Aarti the whole day. So, these are the highest saints, to be the mother of Bhagavan. But Bhagavan, in order to enjoy and doesn't want, so he makes them forget, he makes himself forget the special power that Sri Krishna has. He's the governor of Yoga Maya. Yog plus Maya. Kartum akartum manyatha kartum samartha. That which makes the impossible possible. So through the power of Yoga Maya, he made them forget, and he made himself forget, so he wants to enjoy. Many, as a little child, everyone loved being in his presence. He was loved by his mother. He had two mothers. The aunt of his mother, they had gotten her married. This is a custom in India, very young, but her husband died. And she remained a widow. She never got married again. So, she became his mother also. He would share times between, we call her Mausi and Aji, his own mother. And he said, both are my mother. Just as Shri Krishna had two mothers, Yashoda Maiya in Vrindavan and Devaki in Mathura. So he also had two mothers. Certain things you can see the divinity. Anyhow, so everyone loved being in his presence. His childhood days in school were filled with laughter, games, and play. No one ever saw him studying. He would take the books, go to school, bring it back and put it the same way. People were asked, did he ever study? No. No one saw him open a book. Yet he would get the highest percentage. At one point he was called 99. The teacher didn't want to give 100, they will give 99. So he was called Mr. 99. He would ask such questions to the teachers that they would not be able to answer. They would get angry and say, who is the teacher? Humko padhana hai. His life went like this. I'm not going into much great detail, else we'll go on and on. It was very brilliant. Eventually, he decided to join his elder brother. He had an elder brother who was a professor in Sanskrit in Mohu. He decided to join. He was very fond of his elder brother, so he joined him. And acting like a student, started taking classes and all of that. As was the custom in India, he got married very young. But the girl remained at her home and he remained in his studies and all of that. He got married to Padma Devi from a place called Leelapur. Later on, we also realized that she was a divine descension. Divine descension will come in this world. They would not get married to ordinary people. When Sri Ram came, he got married to Sita, the mother of the universe. When he came as Sri Krishna, yes, he got married to Rukmini, Mahalakshmi herself, etc. In some Leelas, he got married to Radha Rani, some he didn't get married. Don't worry about that, because they are one and the same. Radha and Krishna. Radha Rani is not the wife of Sri Krishna. They are one and the same. Radhika Krishna Rupam cha Krishno Radha Swarupakaha Sanak Kumar Sangita. The scripture says Radha Rani is the form of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the form of Radha Rani. They are one and the same. Anyhow, so that's not the lecture today. So, There also he performed many wonderful acts, giving joy to all his friends and all those who knew him. At the age of 16, he decided to go into that time, there's a place called Chitrakoot in India. This is the place that Bhagwan Sri Ram stayed. During the 14 years of banishment, most time was spent in Chitrakoot. This is a very special place. Bhagwan Sri Ram, Mother Sita and Lakshman spent the maximum time during the 14 years banishment. The majority of time was spent in Chitrakoot. This is very special. At that time, the year 1938, so look how far back we're going, 1938 in India, that place Chitrakoot was forest. Sri Ram had gone there as a forest, it was a forest then, and even in 1938, there was villages and school, as he was going to school there also, but the forest was very dense and filled with wild animals at that time. He decided he entered the dense forest of Chitrakoot, going towards Vrindavan. Started his journey. He just vanished by himself, not no one, in that dense forest of Chitrakoot, walking towards Vrindavan. He stayed in that dense forest for about 2 years. What happened there, very little is known. Some things he has mentioned himself as no one accompanied him. So some things he has mentioned himself and we know a few things. Otherwise, very little is known what happened during the 2 years he spent in Chitrakoot, in the dense forest, going towards Vrindavan. He spent time in many ashrams like Sharabhang ashram, etc. Met many sages during the travel. He himself was mostly in bhav, in divine ecstasy, divine trance, had no idea of food or clothing or anything, to the point he had become completely naked. Whether he took bath or didn't take bath, no one knows, as he was always in that trance, the highest divine love trance, Mahabhav. Being the descension of Radharani, who is Madhanak Mahabhav personified, he was always in that state. If someone gave him food, he would eat. Otherwise, for weeks will pass, months maybe, he didn't eat anything. So like this, many things happen. Some things he has said, but too much detail to go here. Eventually he reached Vrindavan, Banshivat. Having reached there and been in that state of divine Mahabhav, Madhanak Mahabhav, people see this very young boy, very fair. He was very, very fair in complexion. Almost golden in complexion. And there was a light coming from his body. He had thick matted hair, body filled with dirt, as maybe he didn't take bath, etc. Yet there was no smell. No smell in terms of dirty smell coming from his body. And Every now and again he will say, Ha Radhe, and he will go in. He will swoon into that highest ecstasy. So, seeing that, people thought they had read and heard from Bhagavad Mahapuran of someone known as Shukadev Paramhans. Shukadev Paramhans had remained in Samadhi. He remained in the womb of the mother for 12 years, and the moment he came out, he started running. And then he went and sat in the forest in Samadhi. So, and he was always naked. So seeing this young boy naked, with matted hair, they thought that Shukadev ji had come back, had descended again. So they started to call him at that time Paramhans ji. The name was given Paramhans to him. Everyone started calling him Paramhans. There was a saint at that time also in Vrindavan known as Sri Banke Bihari ji. There's a temple called Banke Bihari, but not that temple. There was a saint known as Banke Bihari. And seeing this young boy in that divine ecstasy, he recognized that he was the highest, a divine soul. And so he took him and put him in a dharamshala. In spiritual places in India, especially like Vrindavan, there are hotels called dharamshala, where someone can stay almost for nothing. Holy men, etc. can stay in there. They are called dharamshala. So he put him in a dharamshala, and there some devotees will come sometime and give him something to eat. If they brought something, he would eat. They would feed him. He would not eat with his own hand. He is always in that Mahabhav state. They would feed him, he will eat. They don't feed him, he doesn't eat. They would give a bath to him, he will bathe. They don't give a bath, he remains just like that. They put on clothes for him, etc. now. And so he remained there with a long matted hair like this. And the news started to spread to the nearby cities, Agra, etc. It's close to Mathura, Agra, all these places, that there is a divine person who is always in that divine ecstatic trance, divine ecstasy, a young boy, very fair in complexion. That news spread like wildfire. So people who were devoted to Radha Krishna, who were devotees of Radha Krishna, they started flocking to Vrindavan to have darshan of this young saint. Many people come. And so Maharaji didn't like crowds, so he would hide himself mostly. He would mostly hide himself. He didn't like too much crowd. There were two persons. There was a guy named Janki Prasad Ji, who was a great devotee of Radha Krishna, and he had a friend, Lakshman Swarup Bhattanagar, who was very rich, who lived in Agra, but a great devotee of Radha Krishna also. They also heard about this young boy, this young saint, who was always in that divine ecstasy, and they decided to go to Vrindavan to have darshan of this young saint. Shri Maharaji was about 18 at this time. But because he didn't eat 2 years, most time he didn't eat, so he was very skinny and looked even younger than that. Very skinny. Like a little boy. So they went looking. At that time, Maharaji had mentioned to the saint, Banki Bihari Ji, that he wanted to go to Barsana. Barsana, the place of Radharani, which is close to Vrindavan. He wanted to go there. He's going to spend some time there, but don't tell anyone if anyone asks. Don't tell anyone that he had gone to Barsana. He wanted to be by himself. Didn't like the crowds too much. People were coming by droves to see him, to have darshan. Especially those who were devotees of Radha Krishna. When these two people came to Vrindavan, they searched and searched and searched. Hearing about this, they asked people, have you seen that young saint? And they said yes, some said yes, but they don't know where he is. So they searched and searched and searched, and they finally gave up. Banke Bihari Ji also, that saint, saw them and realized they were very earnest in their searches. They were devotees, they were searchers, true searchers. And so he intimated to them very secretly that the one they are looking for, he went to Barsana. He was in Barsana at this time. At that time also, it was close to Holi. So there's special Holi in Barsana. Very special Holi. So these two had made a decision in their mind when they were coming that they will have darshan of the young saint and they will also go to Barsana, enjoy the Holi also. So they thought, let's go. We already made plan to go to Barsana anyhow. So they went to Barsana, the place of Radharani, and they took part in the holy celebrations, and they started searching, asking people, etc., about this young saint who was always in this divine ecstasy, Mahabhav. But some had seen him, but no one knew where he was. So they searched and searched, and then they gave up here also. They were about to leave. On the way back, there's a place called Kusum Sarovar. It's a very special place. This is a place that had lots of flowers, an ocean of flowers. Radharani herself used to come to pick flowers. The gopis would come to make flower garlands for Radharani and Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna performed many divine pastimes. So this place is very divine, very auspicious. So they decided to visit Kusum Sarovar as they were on their way back. They went to Kusum Sarovar, did parikrama, etc., sat for a while, and they were about to leave, and suddenly they saw there's a little cave, and they saw a light coming from the cave. That cave is still there. They saw a light coming from the cave. This cave, the entrance at that time, only one person can go in at a time. Very small entrance, but there's a cave. That cave is still there. So they saw this light coming from the cave and they decided to, what is this light? They went, decided to find out what this light is coming from the cave. So they entered into the cave, one at a time. The entrance is very small. And they went in the cave and they saw a young boy sitting in there. As I said, Maharaji, at that time his complexion, he was very fair, golden almost in complexion. And from his body a light was coming. Out of his body. And he was sitting in samadhi, in divine trance. Seeing this boy, they had almost given up. And the light from his body coming and so beautiful, they started to cry. They had no idea why, but they started to cry. Tears started flowing like a river from their eyes. that eventually Maharaji came out of his bhav and saw these two men, these two devotees. They fell at his feet, and then they went and they got some things for him to eat. Spending some time in his company, they went and got some food. They fed him. Whatever they brought, he ate it. Who knows when was the last time he ate? And then they started to beg him. Oh, Paramhansji. They had known now, this was a name being used at that time. Paramhansji. You are a divine entity. You have descended in this world for a reason or purpose. But if you remain hidden from the world will not benefit. So they started to earnestly beg him to please come in the world with us. That the whole world should be able to benefit from your divine descension. And so praying and begging like this, and Maharaji, seeing their earnesty and honesty and their true devotion, he accepted that he will go with them. So now he's leaving Vrindavan now to go with his two people. First he stayed in Agra at the home of Lakshman Swarup Bhatnagar. They said he was a very rich person, so a very big house. His daughter-in-law eventually became one of Maharaji's pracharika. He stayed there, and at that time he had long matted hair. So Lakshman Swarup Bhatnagar ji decided to give him an English haircut. So he was given a nice short English haircut, and the clothes that they wore at that time, he was dressed in that clothes. And Lakshman Swarup Bhatnagar then told all his close relatives and friends that there was a great saint staying in his home, a young saint, a divine descension, and they should all come and have darshan. They should all have divine blessing by coming, having his satsang, his association. So people started to come to have darshan of this young saint. But when they saw this young boy with an English haircut and dressed up in fine clothes, they thought, this is a saint. That they were talking, these people were talking, Lakshman Swarup Bhatnagar was talking about this young saint who's always in that divine ecstatic state, and everyone was praising so highly. They wondered, is this the same person? But he's very handsome. And his a nice haircut and wearing almost English clothes also. At that time they had dressed him in, pants and all these things. So they wondered, is this a saint? Maharaji was like that. Whatever the devotee wanted, he did. So they decided to cut his hair. He let them, to give him the clothes to put, he put it on. What he was is nothing to do with the clothes. So they came and sat anyhow, and Maharaji started to chant. At that time he would chant very simple chants. Radhe Govinda Bhajo, Vrindavan Chanda Bhajo. This is one of the first things he would chant. He would chant Mahamantra, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, and mostly Radhe Govinda Bhajo, Vrindavan Chanda Bhajo. And he was swoon into that divine ecstasy. His chanting from his voice, the way he chanted, everyone felt the divinity. They realized this is a divine descension. They felt his divinity. And seeing him in a divine trance, they knew that, oh yes, we are so blessed. That this is the greatest blessing that we're able to be in the company of this great saint. So Sri Maharaji, as we lovingly call him today, stayed a little while there, and then he moved to Allahabad. From Allahabad he went to Pratapgarh. And there was a devotee by the name of Mahabani. Maharaji started staying at the home of Mahabani. Mahabani was a great devotee of the Lord. His whole family were very devotional. We have heard about one of Maharaji's Pracharika, Banchadi Didi. So she was a daughter of Mahabani. At that time she was a baby. Maharaji started staying at the home of Mahabani. There, they would chant, he would sit with the devotees and chant the whole night. The whole night. In the morning, then everyone will go to sleep. And Shri Maharaji used to go to his room. Everyone would say he's going to office. That he's going to Paramahansaji is going to office. Everyone, of course, knew he was divine. He never gave lectures or anything. All he used to do at that time was chant. If anyone asked a question, he would talk. But he did not give like a discourse, a lecture. But devotees would ask questions and he would give answers. So there was satsang. And mostly chanting. So the whole night they would chant. In the morning, there was a room specially for him. When he would go in, no one would be in the room. He would be alone and he would lock the door from inside. What happened in there, nobody knew. That's why they said he was going to office. He would go in alone. If anybody was going there, they had to come out. He would go alone and then he would lock the door. So after some time, Mahabani and his family started hearing voices coming from Maharaji's room, as though he was talking to some other people. That there were some other people in the room and he was talking to them. But nobody went with him and nobody came out when he came out. So they would hear this talking going on, and it was Sanskrit, the conversation, and other languages, mostly Sanskrit. So they became very curious and inquisitive. One Sunday, again they heard the conversation happening in there in the room with Maharaji, and who knows who was in there, who were in there. But when Maharaji came out, Mahabani could not keep his curiosity under control anymore. So he asked Maharaji, who was Paramahansaji? Who was in there with you? Who were you talking to? Maharaji very quickly just changed the whole topic. It's the nature of Maharaji when he doesn't want to say something. He very quickly changed the whole topic and started talking about something else. But Mahabani kept insisting. The year was 1954. Finally, Maharaji relented and said, look, Mahabani, all the scriptures, the Puranas, the Vedas, Mahabharata, etc., they have a personified form. They're divine. These books, that's why we worship them. Bhagavad is told to be Shri Krishna himself personified. Ramayana is Shri Ram personified. So these books, that's why we do arti and worship them. A book written by a saint should be very careful. It's not just words. These are divine. They are Chetan. So these books took their personified form. these holy scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas, the Puranas, etc., they took personified form and they came crying to Maharaji. They started crying to him. That we know you have come in this, we know who you are. And you have come in this world for a special purpose. Please help us. They started to beg him, please help us. Help us what? People in the world who are not qualified. Worldly people are reading divine words. These divine scriptures, and they're given their own interpretation according to their intellect. So they are making a mess. They're not qualified to do this. Scriptures, especially Vedas, are told to be Parokshavad. Parokshavad means that there's a deeper divine meaning. On the top it's saying something and what it means is completely different. Today we're able to read books, Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavad, Ved, translated in different languages. Who did the translation? Worldly people. So we think we understand. But that's not so. So they have given complete wrong meaning to what is written in these divine scriptures. The scriptures were crying and pleading with Maharaji. And only you can do something about this. You have to do something. Kuch karna hai aapko. That people will be able to get the true knowledge of what is written in the Vedas, the Puranas, Mahabharata, Gita, etc. So they pleaded like this. And then this became a new turn in the life history of Jagadguruttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. He said to Mahabani ji, I have to do something. What did he do? So he decided to have a sammelan. The sammelan, a huge conference. The first one was held in Chitrakoot. Again Chitrakoot. That's a very special place. Was to be held in Chitrakoot in the month of October, the year 1956. Sorry, 55. The year 1955, the following year. It will be held in the month of October, from October 16th to the 31st. This Sammelan, and all the greatest spiritual people in India at that time, all the Jagat Gurus and the Mahatmas, and everyone will be invited to come and speak in that Sammelan. So this was advertised in a very big way. All the newspapers and flyers all over India. People attended by the millions. This Sammelan. And 3 questions, simple questions were asked. That these people, whoever come there, they will speak on these 3 things. These 3 questions. On the flyers, etc., Maharaji had put 3 questions. And that all these spiritual men, great spiritual men of India, that these things were confusing to the normal public, ordinary public. That there are so many paths to God, for example, which is the best one and easiest one in this age of Kali Yuga. There are so many divine scriptures. And they all speak different things. There's so much contradictions. How to reconcile this as to what they're actually saying. There are so many different organizations, sects representing Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism in India. Everyone preaching their own thing. So how the general public, they're becoming totally confused. How they're going to understand? So 3 questions like this. But nobody answered. Everyone, whatever, some topic, somebody Ramayana, somebody Gita, somebody had studied Gita, somebody Bhagavad, somebody, they just spoke on whatever they were comfortable on. Some topic. Nobody spoke on these three questions. The people started to become very restless and uneasy. There was an uproar. Now these Mahatmas, these spiritual men, they got angry also. Who wrote these questions? Somebody's trying to give us a bad name. All these things started happening. How was this solved? And were the three questions answered? And what happened afterwards? We'll hear in the next lecture the continuation of this. I will stop here today. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai. Jagadguruttam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Somebody come and stop this.